Hey, what's happening, guys? You're all familiar with this circuit. You've seen it enough times. This is my super simple 555 timer circuit. And exactly 1 week ago today, January the 8th, we put together a video about designing your own printed circuit board. And we use this circuit. And like I said, exactly a week ago, and it is 11 a.m. and DHL just left with my boards fresh in from JCL PCB, who in fact are sponsoring this video. So thank you to JCL PCB. Total cost on these, $2 plus shipping, and you get them in a week. So anyway, my super simple 555 timer circuit, you need a potentiometer. The value really doesn't matter. 555 timer, a capacitor, and an LED. In fact, you really don't even need the LED for this. It's basically just an on indicator. So with the value that we have going on here, this is a 20K potentiometer, and this is a 104 cap. We're going to get a frequency of about 700 hertz or so. So I'm going to power up the power supply, and you can see that there. Now, pardon me while I bike things a bit bumpy and try and show you the newly installed frequency counter here. Can I do it? Can I do it? Yes, I can. Barely. But there you see it. I can't really get you guys a good picture. I'm going to have to move my swing arm. 704. There we have it. So that's our frequency with this particular setup. You can easily massage those values for your own setup. So what's next? Next, we open the bag. Pardon me, I still have sniffles. And if you wonder why it's Monday morning at 11 a.m. and I'm not at work, well, here in the U.S., this is a holiday, Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King was, if you're not from the U.S., was an African-American civil rights leader who was assassinated in the 1960s. So anyway, there's our PCB Simple 555. You can see most of the tracks on the bottom side. Had to run one on the top side. So now we're going to put it together. You ready? Got your soldering iron warmed up? Let's do it. So where do we start? Well, I generally start with resistors. But since there really aren't any, I guess we'll go with the IC, our 555 timer. All we need to do is line up the notch in the chip. What we got there. And we'll solder it home. Is it going to stay in? Maybe. I hope so. If not, we know what to do. Well, here's a good question. Where exactly did I put my solder? Oh, one moment, please. You know, I'm always preaching the 7 Ps, proper previous planning prevents piss poor performance. And obviously, I did not properly previous plan because, I forgot where the solder was. But we've got our solder now, so watch this chip fall out as soon as I touch it. Oops. Okay, so now I'm just going to check. Make sure we're sitting nice, and we are. Now, I like to solder chips opposite side to opposite side. It just kind of spreads the heat out a little bit. Of course, one of the key things that you want to do when you're soldering anything with a semiconductor is keep your heat exposure at a minimum And sometimes that can mean a higher iron temperature that gets you in and out quicker. Okay. All right, not too bad. All right, I guess next we will put in the potentiometer, our pot. A little bit of bendy. Somebody wrote and asked, how do I know which one I was using? I didn't. I just assumed that they would have the most common size. Is it the case? Mostly. Alright, this is going to take a little finesse. I'll be right back. Just so nobody accuses me of cheating, which somebody wrote a week or so ago, and because they couldn't get one of my sketches to work, they said I must be faking it. I'll make sure I solder this here in front of you. I'm just laying it on the table to hold itself in place. Generally, I like to solder while they're in the clamps, but like I said, this didn't want to stay in very well, so it required a little finesse. There we are. Only two things left to solder in. Well, boy, I just really can't talk today, can I? Come on, focus. There we go. Not counting our header pins. Next up is a ceramic capacitor. And it doesn't really matter what direction we put it in. Bend those leads out a little bit like such. And we'll solder them in. Lickety split, nothing to it. Side cutters. And off they come. Alright, the last component is the LED. Now I'm using a near ultraviolet LED here. And I'm being very naughty by not putting a resistor on it. I didn't design a resistor into this board. I could say I was really smart and I planned on using one on the leg, which you can see if I grab any resistor from my collection, or any LED from my LED collection. Yeah, that's something I do. But I tend to use this board driven from a power supply. I'm just going to limit it via the power supply, so it's not going to be an issue. Okay. Now, you could also get away with a yellow LED in here with no resistor. This just doesn't put out much current. Red LED probably pop. Alright, so now we're down to header pins. I just happen to have a selection of them right here. These ones here are our signal drive takeoff. If we're going to use this to drive something else, it's going to come from right here. Now, I know that's not going to stay in when I turn it upside down. So, a little bit of the old duct tape. Engineer's toolkit stuff. Duct tape, WD-40. That's all you need, right? If it moves and it shouldn't, duct tape. If it doesn't move and it should, WD-40. You guys know WD-40 is actually just water displacement, right? It is water displacement formula number 40. And it's mostly kerosene. If you do any machining at all, and I do a little machining on the side, got a little lathe and a little mill, you will know that WD-40 makes an excellent lubricant for aluminum. All right, 2 more pins. These are our power input pins. Going to solder them in, and guess what? I'm not going to show you because you've seen me solder in pins. If you think I'm cheating, then watch another channel. You didn't think I'd do that to you, did you? Of course not. But I am going to swear you to secrecy, showing you the double secret upside down solder. Must never speak of this to people outside of our little fraternity. Kids, do not try this at home. Unless you want to. Well, how do I care? All right. That's it. That's the board. And now, without further ado, and without shutting anything off, God knows I don't want to be accused of cheating, we shall hook up the power. And see what happens. Pardon my phony half German, half French accent. I don't mean to insult anybody. Just kind of get silly when I'm doing stuff like this. Und now we will witness die Spitten und Sparken. All right, I'm going to turn it on. Cross your fingers. Hey. So far, so good. Now, the question is it really blinking? And you know, there's only one way to find that out. I gotta get these on here. I'm afraid they're gonna short if I put them on like this. Can I hold them? Yeah, okay. Tell you what we'll do. Just to prove that I'm not cheating anybody, the video remains on while I stand up and go to my wire rack. And I am grabbing an oscilloscope lead. So I'm going to plug into the scope here. Firing up the scope. There, you can see the scope coming to life. I will bring this into the picture. And here we go, ground lead first. And I think I still might end up shorting these. And hit the auto set. That wasn't the auto set. Well, you look at that. Square wave. 841 hertz. So my measurement was a little bit off. But there you go, friends. Everything works. Everything is together. And I've got 9 more of these, and if you're in the U.S., send me your address. I'll send you one for free. If you're outside the U.S. and you want one, if you're willing to PayPal me the shipping, I'll send you one. That's how you design a PCB. That's how you put it together. Big thanks to JLC PCB. Big thanks to all of you guys for watching and believing in me. You mean the world to me. I love this YouTube channel. I love this community. I love you guys. That's it. I'm out. Peace.